Hello, you're welcome to my channel. Hello, Rosie. How are you doing today? Rosie, you are welcome. How was work today? I'm fine. I'm good. I'm okay. Although I'm very stressed. Today was very hectic for me. I didn't even know I was going to be able to make it to this live stream, but I said, no matter what, I'm going to show my face. How are you doing today? Good. It's like they have sent them again. Oh, yes, it was not easy. I was at my desk from morning till few minutes to 5. I just had to get up and take a rest. Hey, okay, you're welcome. If you're new to this channel, you're welcome. I am Apexy. I'm Ifoma. The channel's name is Apexy Treats. Here we share recipes on Nigerian foods and stuffs. Okay, so today we are talking about cultural food heritage. Yes, our cultural food traditions, how we can pass down the heritage to our, children and all that. To me, I see food as more than just something to ease hunger. Food means a lot to me. It actually means a lot to me. I see it as a powerful way to connect to my heritage. Let me put it that way. Rosie, you said voila. Rosie, how do you then feed? How do you feed if you don't know how to? Don't tell me it's only take out to in this our in this our economy. Hmm. In this our economy, it's very needful to, you know, have that skill. So I was saying that food means a lot to me and is more than just assuaging hunger and easing the discomfort of hunger. Hey, Rosie, you said you just cook what will sustain person. You can't call it. Hey, oh joy no. That thing you're not calling food. There are people that will actually eat it and say this is wow. So I'm not going to take your own judgment though. It is well. Okay, so I was saying that food means a lot to me and that it's not just for easing hunger, it's a way I connect to my roots. Yes. Um, the food I cook, some of the recipes I have, they are more than food to me. They are memories that have been garnered over the years. They are stories. Like I come from a family where my grandma cooked as, you know, she cooked to make a living. She was a caterer in those days. I had the privilege of staying with her in my teenage years, yes, because I was a boarding student and my school was close to my hometown. So I've said it before that I'm from Anambra State. So I went to a boarding school growing up, and most times when we were on holiday, because my parents stayed in Lagos, I just went straight to my grandma, and she's a caterer. She was a caterer. So I had the privilege of observing her and learning a lot from her. So Food means a lot to me. There are so many memories, there are so many stories attached to different recipes. For me, it's more than food. And as a young mom, as a mom with a young family, I see it as a way and an opportunity to pass down those memories, pass down those stories to my kids. Okay? Hello, if you're new here, you're welcome. I'm Informa, and we are talking about cultural food today. Please like this live. If you're just coming in, like the live and share your thoughts in the comments. You're welcome. Okay? So I was talking about passing down food traditions to um, our children. And I was saying that I see food as a connector, like an important link to my heritage. Rosie, why are you smiling? I would like to know what is going on in your mind. Hey, God. Oh. So I'm going to share a few things that I've noted down. That is the importance of cultural food traditions that we have. Okay, first off, I said it helps stay connected to our roots, right? And traditional dishes. I don't know. I don't just comment where you're from, if you don't mind. Just share, like say a state. If you're from Nigeria, I'm from Enugu, I'm from Anambra, I'm from every state in Nigeria has specific foods that they are known for. Like for me, that I'm from Anambra State. Of course, everybody knows Ukwa is our game. Okwa is our Stephanie, you're welcome. Okay. We like okwa. That's breadfruit. I don't know if there is any other name it is called in English, but breadfruit is what I know. And then we have bitter leaf soup, we have oha soup, and so many others like that. And then I can say I'm a mixed breed because my mom is from Enugu State and they have a lot of dishes that are peculiar to them. I can mention achicha, and it's one of my favorites. Okay, and these foods have different, you know, what is it called? Techniques and ways of making them. It's not just, it's something that um, is not is not in the public. How do I put it? It's not that everybody can just come and put, like you would do jollof rice. You need your tomato, you need this, you need this, you jam everything in the pot. No, each of these food I've mentioned has specific techniques and procedures for preparing them, right? Please, if you've not liked the live, do so. Okay, so I was saying that some of these meals, that there are several techniques that are required to making them, and they are not just food that anybody can just come and make. It's something that is passed down from generation to generation. It's something that is learned. For example, that achicha that I mentioned. Okay, yeah. Okay, I can see Stephanie said she's from Anambra State. You're from Anambra State. I guess you would understand some of the things I have mentioned here. When I say Ukwa is our game, Ukwa is our thing. Like there is no occasion that has, important people that do not prepare Ukwa, that they don't prepare Ukwa. Okay, so I mentioned that I am from Anambra State, but my mom is from Enugu State, Nsukka particularly, yeah. So there are several things that I learned from her. There are several meals that were passed down. In fact, I am privileged to have met both grandparents, both maternal and paternal grandparents, grandma, grandpa from both sides. Although both grandpas are gone now, but I met them all, and I had the privilege of Rosie. Rosie said Nsukka. Wow, Rosie, are you from Nsukka? Please, oh, tell me. I would like to know. That's my maternal. That's my maternal home, if I'll put it like that way. Yeah. So these are the things like that achicha that I mentioned. Okpa. Oh my goodness. As I'm calling these foods, I know a lot of memories that are attached to them. Fond memories. And these are the kind of things I would like to pass down to my kids. I don't want it to get lost. Rosie, you said Okwansuka. That is a special one, especially the fact that they add oziza sometimes to their okpa. So that's where my love for food came from. That's where my love for food came from. I had the privilege of having authentic and traditionally made food served to me at my very, at my young growing up stage. Let me put it like that. Before before things changed and we all had to leave we all had to leave home and find our way. So take for example that achicha. Somebody might be asking, what is achicha? Of course, in Igbo language, achicha could be said is bread or biscuit or any other thing. But achicha here, it's what is it called? Cocoyam that is dried out or through smoking. Most times, some people use sun, and then sorry, and then you steam it after going through several processes. You steam it and cook it with beans or with any other what's it called, legume and all that. So I had the privilege of learning all these things, and it's something that I hold dearly to my heart, and I would want to pass on to my kids with time. I would want to pass these things up to my kids with time. Talking about okwa, let me give an example. So, for example, in my house here, it's not easy because I stay in Lagos, and some of these things is not easily accessible here. Not that you can't find okwa in Lagos, you can, but it is more expensive, and you would not find it as easily as you would if you were in the east. If I was in Anambra State, or if I was in Enugu or any other eastern states in Nigeria, it will be easy for me to access these things. But here in Lagos is a rare commodity and is expensive. So in as much as I would like to, be eating these things all the time, um, I have limited access to them. But then, ukwa here, I make sure, like I have someone that brings it to me from the east. I mean the preserved one, the dried out one. And once in a while, I make it a point of duty to add it to the menu for the week. Yes. At the initial time, it wasn't easy because my children didn't know what it was, but they had to get used to it because it's our food and it's okay, it's nutritious, and it's good. And it's good. So with time, they got used to eating okwa. I can tell you, with time, they loved it. And I am certain that it's something that growing up, they would not just depend on um, the food, the common food that they know. Let me say jollof rice, beans, yam, this. It will add variety to their meals. And not just that, it will preserve our cultural foods. It will preserve this heritage that I'm talking about. And it's an elite food. Ukwa is nutritious, and I call it an elite food because it is expensive. It's expensive. And when you go to any occasion in the East, for people that is preserved for the people that are, let me use that quotation mark, people that are important. It's not served to everybody. Like everybody that comes to your occasion in the East, if they are Igbos, they would want to eat okwa. But it's not meant for everybody. There are people that such meals are preserved for. So it's an elite food. It's a food that we value. It's a food that we value. So I think it's important to introduce our kids to some of these things, because as it is, what we are having currently now is a form of erosion of our culture. Okay, we are suffering from eroded culture, where most of the things that we knew growing up, most of the things that our parents had, we no longer have them. So I think is an important way to connect to our past, to connect to our heritage. Am I even talking about okwa? What of akidi? What of akidi? And these things are tasty. What of akidi? Hmm? There's also something we call fiofio in my language. In Anambra, we call it fiofio. In Enugu, some people call it abobo. Some call it mbombo, depending on your idiolects. But it's, yes, but they are very nutritious. They are sweet. Like most of these things have even become, they've become my kids' favorites, because they are now used to them. They are now used to them. Anytime I mention we are cooking fiofio, or I think fiofio is cowpea. I'm not sure now, but I think it's cowpea. I will check. Maybe I'll put it in the description box. I'll check. Some of these things, when you mention this kind of food to somebody's hearing, maybe here in Lagos now or something, they will say, "What are you talking about?" Like they will be kind of confused. Excuse me, what's that? What's that? We have all been tushified, but it's not about being tush. I think it's about denying who we are, and running away from our culture and from the things that make us, that identify us, that make us a unique people. I am sure the Yorubas have theirs. We all know Yorubas, and their love for Ewedu, Gbegiri, and all that. These are general things that everybody knows. But I am sure there are specific food. There are some food that, if they call it here, even a Yoruba person might not, a young Yoruba person might not ordinary as in necessarily know about. But they are foods. Our ancestors, they ate these things, and they and they lived healthily. Okay, so aside connecting with heritage, it helps build family bond. Like I said before, food is not just for easing hunger for me. So whenever you make this food, there are stories behind it. There are stories you want to tell behind it, that are behind it. Okay? For me, anytime, aside cultural food, even, there are some recipes, there are some snacks that when I make, I remember my mom, because I learned it from my mom. The making, frying puff puff, frying, what is it called, fish pie, all of these things was from my mother, and she had a unique way she made hers. So I'm just saying snacks. Talk more of cultural foods. Okay, most of these things, there are stories attached to it, there are memories attached to it, and when we do things like that, it kind of helps bond our families together. If you're coming here for the first time, please, you're welcome. Don't forget to like and leave your thoughts in the comment section. I am Ifoma. You're welcome to Apex Treats, and I am talking about traditional food and how we can pass on the heritage to a younger generation. Okay, so you're welcome. You're welcome. So I was saying that is a very good way to create family bonds and teach our children our ancestries, okay? Most of the things I know today, I learned from my grandma. There are several ways I can, let me use egusi soup for example. The way my paternal grandma makes egusi soup is very different from the way my maternal grandma makes egusi soup, and it's also slightly different from the way my mom made hers. And I have all these things. So depending on my mood, I can make my egusi soup anyhow. And I and imagine my child, what she will have. Of course, over the years, I also developed my own recipe. I had one or two things to add to my own egusi soup that made it distinct. And I'm going to pass all this to my children. I'm going to pass all of them to my children. This way, these things are preserved, these recipes are preserved, okay? And then in the course of making these foods, you share stories with your kids, you tell them stories, you share a lot of things with them, and it creates that bond. It creates that when I eat some things, food, I don't know if any one of you will agree with me, but food has a way of taking you back. Like there are some things you would see, even you could even perceive it vividly, like as if you're even perceiving, like there is a deep sense of connection to what you've had before, and then you just see it. There is a deep sense of connection. That is how I view food. That is how so much I respect food. I have bad memories of food. I have good memories. But thank God that my good memories supersede the bad ones. Okay? So aside these things that I've listed, what are the ways we can incorporate cultural food traditions in our everyday meals? How can we do that? I know it's not easy. Like I've mentioned achicha here, I've mentioned fiofio, I've mentioned akidi. All of these things, they have their English names. I'll find out. I know one is cowpea. I know one is what's this? I can't even remember now. I'm not going to bother my head too much about that. I'm going to look for it and put it in the description box. Abacha, all of these things. Okay, I've mentioned abacha, I've mentioned okwa, I've mentioned akidi, achicha, okpa, and the rest of it. So how do we do this? How do we incorporate it into our daily meal plans? First and foremost, depending on where you're staying. If I was staying in the east, I would say, oh, easy peasy, it's not going to be difficult. I can always enter market and do my shopping and come home and prepare the meals. But for me that stay in Lagos, I am deliberate about it. So some of the things that I might need to prepare some of these things, I order it. I order for it from the east, and then gently I incorporate them into our meals. Let's say, for example, in a week, I might say we'll eat okwa, and everybody knows that on this particular day we are eating okwa, and that is it. So it's something that can be, introduced gently, maybe once a week, even once a month can work. Once a month can work. By the time you keep doing this, children children are like sponges. Whatever you put out to them, they soak it. They become used to it. They become proud of their heritage and where they are coming from. It's not so difficult. Let's stop all these culture of uh, hamburger, all this culture of, you know, the food we perceive to be easy, like spaghetti. I am not saying that those ones are not important. No, that's not my point. Sometimes it's easier to do those meals. I do them too. I do them more often than I want to. I have to admit. But I'm also what's it called? I'm also in tune with the fact that I need to balance it up and introduce some of these meals to my kids and make sure that they get used to it so that it will not be lost. I want in my old age, when I can no longer cook, I want my kids to be able to prepare some of these things and I can still eat them if I go to their houses. Oh my God. I hope I'm not sounding selfish, but I would want them to have these things for themselves. I wouldn't want our culture to just go like that, or the things I have learned over the years to just disappear because I didn't do my homework or I didn't do the things that I needed to do at this young stage of their development. Okay? And did I mention how healthy some of these foods are? Did I mention how healthy compared to what we have ordinarily? You can't compare pasta to, let's say, akidi or ukwa. You can't. They are world apart. You can't even begin to compare the nutritional value that both have to offer. They are world apart. Okay? So they are healthy alternatives. Once in a while, let's incorporate all these things. Because if we keep eating pasta, jollof, eba and soup, it's even tiring. Sometimes you think of what you want to eat, you want to go mad because it's almost recycling the same meal over and over again. If you don't cook rice as jollof, you cook it as white rice, or you make this stew, you make that stew, you make this one. But when you incorporate, when cultural food is part of your meal, it's easy. It's an adventure. You have alternatives. Okay? You have alternatives. I am supposed to end this live by 6 and it's already after 6. I don't know if I can go on because I have another meeting coming up in a few minutes. But at this point, I would like to thank you for sticking with me so far and staying with me throughout this live. Okay? Rosie, if you're still here, I appreciate you. Thank you so much for stopping by. Bemisola, if you're still here, thank you so much for stopping by. Thank you for sticking out with me today. I'm going to end this live just about now because I have another meeting in a few minutes. Okay, so maybe in our next live we'll continue with this because I have not actually exhausted this topic. Okay, see ya.